You know I try not to beat around the bush. So here it is, my new daily driver, a 2026 Fiat Grande Panda. This is not a joke or an ad. This is truly my new daily driver. A hybrid La Prima spec Grande Panda, finished in aqua azure. Now, I appreciate that some of the time this channel might seem a little unrelatable, or dare I say it, even a bit out of touch. I regularly feature high-priced sports and supercars, but I've always liked a small, quirky car. Some of you might remember my Abarth 695 Posto, the Renault Twizy I lived with for 6 months, my Citroen Rally car, the Mini Clubman, another Abarth. Well, this car falls into the same category in my mind as those ones. And the maddest thing is, you can get one in the UK for about 20 grand, around £250 a month. I'm going to explain everything in a minute, but for those of you who might think this is a late April Fool's, it's not. This thing is mine, and I am so obsessed with this little car. There is so much to show you. Fiat have hidden so many Easter eggs in this new Grande Panda, it's amazing. But let's just go back in time quickly, because I think the last time I gave you a bit of a garage update, I would have told you that I was daily driving my Jaguar XE Project 8, and that would have been true. I've been using that car for most sort of tasks over the last 6 months or so. I think I've put 10,000 miles on the clock since September, October last year. Whilst it is a great daily driver, it's a little impractical. It's left-hand drive. I live in a right-hand drive country. It's a track-focused super saloon that I was using for the nursery run to go to the supermarket. It felt like a massive waste of that car's potential. And on top of that, I don't know why, but in the last 6 months or so, it feels like the world's suddenly woken up to what the Project 8 is, and values have started to creep up. Whilst I don't buy cars as investments, I buy them to use them. It just felt like a bit of a waste to be driving around at 20 miles an hour in the city in that car. So I decided I wanted a car, a very generic four-wheel automobile to do the boring tasks in, something that might not even feature here on this YouTube channel, but would just be, yes, easy to use. Now, just like Renault with the Renault 5, Fiat have been very purposeful with the design of this thing. It is harking back to their history and their heritage. This car is supposed to remind you of the original Panda, the 1980s Panda. And Fiat are doing that to kind of combat the Chinese. At this price point, the only other real compelling options are from China, BYDs or I don't know, manufacturers I've never heard of or can't pronounce. And they probably do as good a job, if not a better job, but who wants to be driving around in a Moda 84? By kind of, harking back to their back catalogue, pulling on our heartstrings, Fiat and Renault, and I think more and more European manufacturers are hoping to pull us away from, yes, those compelling offerings from China. Now, initially, I was going to just go and buy an old Golf, maybe even an old Range Rover if I could find one at that value, but this is a car that really I'm using just to get my daughter from point A to point B. I wanted it to be reliable, safe, and loaded with tech so I could have the Frozen soundtrack at the click of a button and things like that. Also something that clearly my dog Twiggy could relax in. So I got nervous at buying a sort of old shitter. And I decided instead I would just try and find a real easy new car. But the problem is, the most affordable ones are all kind of just boring. And I am a petrol head. I wanted the car to still have some kind of character or personality, otherwise I probably wouldn't enjoy it. So I started looking at things like the new Mini Cooper, which I really liked, but was a little bit expensive. Maybe the Renault 5 or the Renault 4, but I was nervous about going all electric. My lifestyle is unpredictable, and whilst this car will mainly be used for 10 or 15 mile journeys, every now and again I might need to use it for longer. I just didn't want to get involved with the hassle of a small electric car that wasn't going to have huge range. So during my searching, I rediscovered this, the Grande Panda. Here in the UK, this brand new, retro-inspired, funky-looking, tech-loaded, 5-door, 5-seat, super mini, I don't even know what, starts from just £19,000 with a couple of grand deposit. That's like 250 quid a month. This is a top spec La Prima edition, and it's just £22,000. And it looks like this. The 1980s Panda, which this is supposed to remind us of, and I think does a good job of doing so, one of the most successful cars ever made. I think the original one, they sold like 4.5 million of them. They've been making Pandas for basically 40 years. In total, I think 9 million sales worldwide. If you go to Italy, these things are still everywhere. I mean, I say these things, the original cars, are everywhere. A true workhorse of the country and a real people's car. That's why I think Fiat have done a great job, not by just pricing this correctly, but by making it so practical. It's one of the only 5-door, 5-seat cars at this price point, but loads of just great features that makes you think that they were like, what's the customer gonna need and what's gonna make this a really attractive proposition that doesn't just look amazing. Because as I say, from a design point of view, it's a head turner, this thing. It's a 20 grand head turner that has a proper vibe and is inspiring. I just made an old lady very cross though, because maybe I should have let her go. I should have let her go. We're filming, I got caught. I thought I was going to say this car can win people around, you know, it makes people smile. It might only be 20 grand, but people are, and then she was fuming because I just nearly ran her over. Now, of course, cars are much bigger than they were in the 80s, but Fiat have kind of recognized that by calling this the Grande Panda, the big Panda, because I'm sure an original first generation Panda is probably half the size. But in today's world, this is a small car. It's about the same size as a Renault 5 or yes, a 3-door Mini Cooper, but it's taller and it's got sort of a chunkiness that in photos makes it look bigger than it is, and actually it feels bigger than it is. But yeah, it's a small city-based car. When you see it parked against other things, you go, oh, it's so teeny tiny. I sort of love it. But as I mentioned in the intro, lots to talk about with the design, not just the overall look. There's small little details that I think are worth mentioning. So let's kickstart at the front. I love the fact that we've got this kind of now retro Fiat logo, which is kind of big and bold. It's like they're really proud to be Fiat once more, and that's a win. But these kind of squares or rectangles here are supposed to hark back to 1980s video games like Tetris or Space Invaders. You'll also notice though, not only have we got squares, we also have these kind of strakes, these 4 strakes, which you'll see throughout the vehicle. For example, here on these kind of pronounced wheel arches, that's because that was the logo for Fiat back in the 80s, 90s, and they sort of, you know, a lot of harkbacks going on. As I mentioned in the car, it's all about celebrating the history, the heritage, and that's fun. Now, I also did mention that this is a La Prima spec. This is the top level spec you get for the Panda. So we're on these larger 17-inch wheels. The electric version, because there is an electric version, it is 2026, you get Steelies, 16-inch Steelies. I actually went to Fiat and I was like, can I get Steelies on the La Prima? And they said no. So that's a shame, but I like those. Anyway, that's not a quirky feature. Let's continue to some of the quirky design elements, like this, these sort of embossed Panda writing, which I think is so cool. La Primas also get these roof bars. I'm assuming these are functional. It'd be fun to put like a roof tent up here and go on a proper adventure in this thing. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? But yeah, all of that very much Panda 4x4. Easter eggs. So here we go. Look at this square here. Seems kind of random. From one angle, it reads Fiat, that new Fiat logo. Move to the other side, and it's the 4 strakes. Just fun little things that, with time, you start to realise as an owner, you start to spot these things, and it keeps the car fresh and exciting. Little Panda logo there, for example, another 4 strakes. Around the rear, there's literally no sort of curved surfaces back here. It's all squares and boxes and rectangles. I mean, look at these vertical tail lights, for example, with the kind of individual elements, but also the embossed Fiat logo. Again, it just feels good that Fiat are proud to be Fiat. I think that's fantastic. Panda logo, then the strakes, it's all going on, but it's all very angular and chunky, but also kind of cute. I just want to pick it up, put it in my pocket, and drive it around town. I've got this 1.2 litre, 3-cylinder, quite heavily mild hybrid. I have to plug it in, but I can feel the regen braking, I can kind of hear the electrical systems, but it does mean that I get good torque and great fuel economy in town doing this. Really slow speed, 20 mile an hour, stop-start driving. I'm happily doing late 30s MPG. On a long drive, I'm probably doing late 40s, maybe even early 50s. That is, yeah, absolute win. And it's a pleasure to drive. Look, it doesn't have the sort of, you know, sophisticated suspension of more expensive cars. It is small, it is, well, not that light, but do you know what I mean? Like it is what it says it is, but it's really nice. Turning circle is great, steering is light, but sort of, you know, somewhat communicative. It just does the job and makes me smile whilst doing it. I keep catching my reflection in windows on sunny days, going, ooh, at the petrol station. I'm like, look at that thing. It's just cool. It really makes me happy. Now, if you thought the outside was cool, just wait till I show you around the interior, because for me, this is what convinced me to actually go out and get one of these cars, because it's just, well, bloody brilliant in terms of the materials, the space, the functionality, the tech. Don't let Twiggy's relaxed nature fool you. She's excited, she likes this car. It's good for her, as it is good for me, maybe for all of you. Let me show you around. Little kind of fun things to notice. For example, up here on the kind of main dashboard, look, we got a little Panda driving up this kind of circular design, and that carries on all the way over here to the other side of the dash. And that's kind of hinting towards the old Fiat test track that used to sit above the factory, would have the same kind of oval layout. Forget carbon fibre, what about bamboo fibre? So this is a fun way for Fiat to use, you know, environmentally friendly materials, recycled materials and things like that. Of course, pandas eat bamboo, so this carries through for the La Prima spec, but that is sort of document holding space. This is the shelf they expect you to use for phones and keys and things like that. You also get an additional glove box, which is of course rammed full of toddler snacks. I mean, I have to mention it because I'm here now. Physical controls for the air conditioning. It is so hard to find a new car in 2026, especially an affordable new car, that has not gone sort of touchscreen or integrated this into the touchscreen above. So I was so happy to see physical controls. Also heated seats and heated steering wheel. Massive fan. Just below that, the two most important buttons of this car. The ability to physically turn ADAS off, well, some elements of ADAS. One of my big concerns about buying a new car was that it was going to bong at me constantly, but if I just push and hold those two buttons, the two most annoying and interfering bongs go away. Panda, made with love in Fiat. I think that should say by Fiat. I do think that is a lost in translation moment. Am I wrong there? Made with love in Fiat, like in the Fiat factory, sure, but surely by Fiat. Anyway, that's just been winding me up a little bit. But yeah, just really great, functional, intuitive layout and design. So really good, and as you can see, very comfortable for Twiggy, although she's not allowed to be here when I'm driving. So let me show you where she goes, and if I get into my driving position, how incredible the rear space is. I've mentioned it a few times, but it's such a good, practical and quite deep bootless. I don't know the literage, it's not something I really pay attention to. I just judge it on what I can fit in. Perfect for Twiggy, with still space for my camera bag. It's a little sort of, you know, whatever you call that, tote bag full of my daughter's stuff, but you can get plenty of suitcases in here, practical gear. There is a parcel shelf which I've just taken out whilst Twiggy's there, but that stores quite neatly and nicely behind those rear seats, which can be folded down. I mean, it's just a good, useful, practical space. So that is the driver's seat, essentially in the position that I have it. It's probably a little bit further back because we were doing some filming. I'm 6'2", and here I am, plenty of headroom. My knees can easily pass behind. My feet go nicely underneath the seat. So in this hybrid version, that's fantastic. And then of course, my daughter's car seat all set up as well. She has plenty of space, good sort of storage there for books and things like that. We've got side cubby holes for snacks. Okay, no central armrest in the rear, but that's fine because it makes it a usable, as I say, 3-seat row back here. You could definitely get another adult in there, and some charging points. Okay, no aircon vents back here, so it's not a dual zone climate control, but very comfortable for short or long journeys with multiple adults, and that is key for me. So despite its small size, it is, as I say, impressively large, and I think that additional height really helps for headroom and the feeling of spaciousness in here. You really need to go for a walk, don't you? You're miserable. Okay, let me walk the dog and then we'll continue with the review. Now, I mentioned earlier on my hesitations around buying an electric car as my daily driver. You could argue an EV would be perfect for the sort of jobs that I outlined or that I require this car to do. But I did also mention that my lifestyle, my routine, it's too unpredictable for an EV. There are too many occasions where I'd need to charge on the go, rely on the public charger network, or ensure that I got maximum charge before I set off. And I wanted a smaller car. I wanted a kind of city car, a hatchback, and most small EVs have a maximum range of 150 or 200 miles. It's just not enough for what I do. It would have been too much of a hassle. But I think that's why I initially overlooked the Grande Panda. I just assumed that this thing was EV only. any kind of cool retro-inspired small car that manufacturers are launching seem to be electric only. But no, the minute I found out you could get this thing as a mild hybrid, I was like, yes. Fiat are one of those manufacturers that are just kind of backpedaling a little bit on their, you know, proclamations that they're going to be going electric only. For example, we're about to get a mild hybrid manual Fiat 500. That's a win, isn't it? I just think this thing's a little bit cooler and suits my needs a little bit more. So there we have it, my new daily driver. I have no idea how much more of this car you're going to see on the channel. I didn't really buy it, well, with the view to making videos with it. It's truly a daily driver to do all the tasks I keep mentioning, but I'm already loving it so much I kind of want to take it on an adventure, at least take it to Italy, surely. As I mentioned, like put a roof tent on it and like go camping. It's just so fun. So I don't know. As I say, you may never see it again. I'll probably be on Instagram, I'll share some stories on it, or it might become like more regular on the channel than my channel, darling. We'll have to wait and see, but I absolutely adore these things. If you knew nothing about it, go and check them out, because I say, an affordable, usable car, it's such a win in today's market. So I'm super happy, but I haven't got much else to say, apart from I'm gonna jump back in. I'm gonna go pick up my daughter. See ya.